Hello, welcome to another episode of MeatballCraft. How you guys doing? I'm doing pretty good myself, thanks for asking. It's actually been a really busy couple of weeks lately, and I think I've talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but I haven't really been able to escape from work. You know how it is, the customer asks some things, they want you to update some tests, and it's just been a little bit busy trying to figure that out. And I've also been pretty busy with the community band stuff. I know I've talked about it before, but yes, I did join a community band lately. And we had our first performance on the Saturday before I started recording this episode. And man, it was actually really fun. It's pretty much the first time I've performed in like 10 years, really. And being in front of an audience like that, while I'm not the main attention, of course, it was just a really nice experience that I've been missing out on. And I'm glad to do something like that again. Funny enough, I somehow got invited to another band. So I'm gonna be even more busy than usual. I think how it happened was that one of the sax players happened to know a guy who asked her to invite the new young percussion guy in the back if he wanted to play some music for another thing. So I was asked and I went ahead and said, you know what? This sounds pretty fun. Let's do it. I'm going all in on this music performance stuff. I'm having so much fun with this one band. I might as well try other things, right? We're going to be playing some Halloween music around the 30th of October. It's going to be pretty fun. I'll try to record some videos of it when it happens, but I'm pretty excited for that. Anyways, you're here for some Minecraft, so let's get to it. On the last episode, we did get a little bit of a Botania setup going. We have our endoflames. We have an automated charcoal dispensary system for the endoflames for infinite mana. We have our runic altar, and we even got all the way up to the elven gateway core. So I was thinking about the next steps, and well, it's not really going to change much from last time. The major goal I want to accomplish is to get the Ring of Odin. Getting this is going to really help us out in the long run. But for us to get there, we first have to fight the Tier 2 Gaia Guardian. And for me to be comfortable with fighting this, I would like to have a good set of Terra Steel armor. This isn't usually something I go for in any pack, so I thought I'd try something new and go for this one, but it is pretty good armor still. And I'm pretty sure a full set also gives you regen, so it's just another reason to go for this. Another thing I wanted to go for was the item dislocator. We can actually craft this pretty much right now. We just need 2 Terra Steel. But this is pretty much just a fancy magnet, and I'm really looking for one because, yeah, there's no way I can get some of those items, right? They're gone forever. But having a magnet is gonna prevent that from happening. But I was thinking about it also. I'm gonna want a lot of Terra Steel for this and the Terra Steel armor, right? So another thing I want to focus on is better mana generation. I'm gonna go for the Kekimuris because this is already a really good flower. I've used it before in Divine Journey 2, and they're really strong. Plus we have infinite cakes because of the EMC, so it's just more reason to go for this. And then we'll go ahead and also use sparks to set up a mana battery, and I guess I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get to that point. But that's pretty much what I had in mind for this episode. It's mostly just going to be Botania progress, but we may have to step out into the world to go exploring some more because of the runes, for example, the Purple Blaze. So funny enough about this one, I didn't show it on the last episode, but for Purple Blaze, you can actually get spawners in the nether. It says there in the tooltip. I did try to pick one up. I found the structure, and I used the, the bag of holding. Yeah, this thing. But I didn't realize that whenever you use it, it drops the bag on the ground, and I did not clear the lava, so it got deleted. So I'm gonna have to look for another one of those structures for more Purple Blaze. I just wanted to mention that. It was pretty funny. So to start, I'm gonna make this crafting calculator. I played with it a good amount in Compact Claustrophobia. It's pretty simple if you don't know about it. It's you right click it, and then you can actually teach it recipes. So for example, I want to use it to plan ahead how much stuff I'm going to need to make 8 Kekimuris. And then you click on save. And so now if I want to craft 8 of these guys, it pretty much tells you exactly what you need. So, and then I just go down the list, right? So I know I'm going to need all of these petals, but I'm going to need 8 runes of gluttony. So you can also just teach it that recipe. And it keeps going down the list. It's basically like a budget AE2 system, because otherwise I would have to set up like interfaces, and I'm not really trying to do AE2 stuff until a couple of episodes later. But the crafting calculator is going to help me out in the meantime. And this is pretty much everything. No, I don't need 25 runic altars. I can probably change the recipe so that it doesn't do that. And no, I don't need 8 petal apothecaries. It's just telling me I have to do that 8 times and have to make 25 different runes. But out of everything here, I think the biggest concern I have, well, not concern, really, it's just something I have to like look for or farm for, is whale fins, purple blaze, and crab claws. Everything else is pretty achievable. And I guess you can say the cake as well, because I don't have any eggs or milk, but that's not too bad to find. So purple blaze, we already have an answer for this. We have to go to the nether, find that structure, and pick up a spawner, and we can make like a simple mob farm out of that. Now for the crab claws and whale fins, I don't know too much about how to get this. So these guys spawn on beaches, so I have to do a little bit of travel to get there. And I don't know if I have any left. I have 4 left, and is that enough? Oh, we have enough, never mind. I don't have to worry about this for now. But whale fins is a little bit annoying to get. I spent a lot of time last episode trying to find this stuff. I cut out a lot of the travel, but I think what I want to do is get this aquatic stone. And it says here to right click to summon whales and sharks. I'm hoping it's more than one use. So we have 2 options to get this. We can either craft these aquatic ingots, which needs the pure aquatic pellets, which is a lot of king crab fights. And the other option to get this is through dungeon loot in an end city. But I'm not really ready to go to the end yet until I get like the Ring of Odin. It's probably what's going to be next, is going to the end, I think. So I think I am going to have to hunt for these king crabs either way. So that is where we'll start off with. We're going to go looking for chickens, for eggs, milk, and then the purple blaze, and enough stuff for the whale fins. So let's go traveling. Actually, I got some pretty good news. There's this button I can push. I think it's this one, inventory detection disabled. So if I click it, it'll actually record what I have in the inventory and subtract it from these amounts. So for example, the crab claws. This recipe says I need 3 of them, right? So if I try to grab those 3, it'll take them off the list because I have them ready. I actually do have enough for everything because it also includes these runes that I've crafted. I have spares, so if I try to pick up like all the stuff that I don't need, which I believe it's just water, fire, and earth, we actually need way less, and it says so. So for example, 2 whale fins. I think I have like exactly enough. Yeah. So I don't need any more whale fins for now. Basically almost everything is EMCable except for the wool and the purple blaze. And I think I even have purple blaze left over. I have 2. Oh, I need 1 more. I'm still going to have to look for that spawner. That's okay. But pretty much everything else we should be okay. I just need that 1 purple blaze. So let's go looking for that one. And on the way, we'll get the bucket of milk for the cake. I mean, I guess while I'm out here, let's do some shearing because I do need wool as well. This isn't EMCable, I don't think. No. So it looks like this is something we would have to farm for. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, actually. Okay. So I'll be shearing sheep in the meantime. Found the cows. I just need 1 bucket of milk, please. Thank you. Throw that in here. We have tons of milk. Why are you stacking? I don't remember it being able to stack. Sir, you're going to give me an egg. Oh, you already have eggs. Thank you. Throw this in here. And now we have, I think, everything to craft the cake, right? Yeah. Then throw it in here. Infinite cake. Oh, yeah. Eat it for extra hearts. Thank you. Okay, but that should solve our cake situation. And I believe the next step is to go looking for the purple blaze. Actually, before I go, let's try crafting this sponge item thing from open blocks. I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, you can actually soak up lava with this. So let's try it. One way to find out, right? Yeah, that should be it. The spawners are like on the bottom right there. You see that? And I think we got lucky. There's no lava on this one. Sir, I need to take your spawner because I need more of you. Thank you. You know what, before I do this, let's play this smart and actually charge my ring of fire resistance, because I'm running out of this. It's not too bad, you just have to grab a bunch of blaze powder and then craft them like that. Okay, so there is lava on top of the spawner, so yeah, I think if I pick them up with the sack of holding, they're gonna get deleted again. Let's try something here. Sir, I need you to shush, please. You're being a little too loud. Yeah, right there. Please shush. I'm trying to think. So, does this sponge work how I think it does? Oh, it does, but it destroys the sponge. Okay, good to know. We got one. I don't know if I'm gonna need another one, honestly. Nah, I'm just gonna go back. We have one. That should be enough for now. I mean, we even already have enough purple blaze anyways, but this is for future. So let's go back home. So I'm looking at this list, and yeah, we pretty much have everything. So it's going to be a lot of crafting. I can even click on this button to show me what kind of steps I'm going to need, which means crafting montage. And there we go. 8 Kekimirus flowers. So I actually found out something interesting. I didn't know about this, but if I look at the runic altar, or at least the information in AGI. What's that noise? Do I have warp on me? Did you guys hear that? I'm going crazy. Anyways, if you look at the runic altar information, it does tell you here at the end, runes in runic altar recipes are not consumed. I didn't realize that, so I made way more than I actually needed. So I have a ton of runes left over. Even the winter ones. Oh, this is going to be so helpful. So really, I only needed like one of each. And then just use those to mass produce the gluttony runes. Okay, so the next step to do with these Kekimirus plants is to start setting up the mana battery. And pretty much the general idea is that we're going to have all of these Kekimirus plants feeding into a single mana pool just like this, and then using a dispersive augment, we're going to send to a lot more mana pools. And I'm going to try to go for like a 5x5 setup, just something simple, and then we can always expand it later as we need more mana. But I think anything more than a 5x5 right now is a little overkill, but trust me, with 8 plants, we're going to keep up with it just fine. But before I do that, I did want to make the item dislocator because I'm going to be digging into the ground. And I don't want to be losing anything. And I should have everything ready for this. It's just a bunch of terra steel, and I did craft a couple of this terra steel while I was crafting all the other runes, because we do generate a good amount of mana whenever we just, sit around and edit. Anyways, the item dislocator is ours now. Finally, a good magnet. And I think I can just right-click it. Shift right-click. Shift right-click, yes. Oh, that's a problem. Hang on, I didn't think about this. I think I can use something called the dislocation normalization field projectors. Try saying that 5 times fast. Oh, don't make me craft them. I don't have enough draconium for this. At least I don't think so. I mean, I do, but this stuff is kind of expensive. So another option would be to craft I think it's called the solimagn something. It's this plant. Yeah, I think it's this one that prevents magnets from working. Oh, it might just be the regular ring of magnetization. Is that something I can craft? Yeah, that's not happening. Okay, I think this is what I want to go for. A demagnetizer. Basically, that solid magnolia thing. I don't know what to call it. But it works for any mod. Should be able to just craft it now, right? Yeah. So I believe if I put it somewhere, what happens if I put it right on top of it? Like right there. Okay, and it has a range. Let's try something. So if I shift right click this, okay, I think that works. Okay, so we have our answer to dislocating, not picking up things I don't want. Anyways, the Kekimirus setup. So I'm going to put it kind of close to the elven portal so I can also feed these mana pools. But the 8 plants, I'm going to put them like this. And in the middle is where I want to put the cakes. And I think we have the block placer from Actually Additions to help us out with that. The auto placer, sorry. Yeah, we should be able to do that. I may have to get some other things. Yeah, or I may have it in storage. Hang on. You guys remember this thing, right? At some point, I'm going to move on to these machines, I promise. I just haven't really had a reason to. I'm still going to stick to that plan of, like, focusing on magic first. I know some of you are going to say, but burning, Botania isn't a magic one. I know, but for our purposes, I'm going to count it. It's always a funny discussion to hear online, right? Is Botania a magic or a tech mod? It is totally a tech mod because the dev said so. It's on the CurseForge page. But yeah, I'm going to try to stick to that plan where I do like magic or magic-like mods and then go into exploration and then tech and then try to change it up every episode, right? So at some point I am going to move those machines and we're going to have a nice little automation set up pretty soon. Anyways, the auto placer. And I'm hoping I can place this face up. Yes, I can. So this guy is going to go right here. And then we just feed it cake. Plenty of cake. If I get out of the way, there it goes. And they just destroy the cake. So I don't know if they stop eating cake if they're full. One way to find out, right? Just hit it with the wand and it tells you how full it is. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. These guys will non-stop eat the cake. So maybe if I just need a good amount of mana, I'll throw like a stack in there at a time, right? We don't have unlimited EMC. We do have the villager farm going in the background this entire time, but I don't want to just drain our EMC on cake for no reason, right? Yeah, so they're still going to eat it even if they're full, which is no good, but there's like redstone signals we can do to prevent that from happening. But for now, it's just going to be a manual setup. Okay, so now we have the mana generation. Next thing is to start pumping it into the mana pools. And we're going to use Elven mana spreaders for this. I didn't realize, but the pack actually adds some information in the tooltip. It tells me how much mana per burst. I've never really thought about that. But yeah, the Elven mana spreader does push a little more. So we want to go for this. And it's not too bad. It's just Dreamwood and Elementium, which is, of course, Mana Steel and Living Wood. Just gotta throw this stuff in here. And I'm gonna plan for 4 of them. Don't know if that's overkill or not. I really don't know how strong the cake plants are, but it'll be a balancing game. If we need more, then we'll just make more. So I can probably just put this guy up here, and then the 4 mana spreaders like this. And then they're all connecting to it, right? Yes. Do I have to tell you where to go? I think I do. Yeah, like that. I just have to shift right click. We'll try to do 2 cake plants per mana spreader. Again, I don't know how strong that's going to be, but we'll play test it, right? There we go. So now each of them are like sending a ton of mana into this thing. Yeah. I love that. But that guy is going to have a mana spark with the recessive augment, which means that it's going to try to send into any mana pool that has a spark that isn't also recessive. So this is pretty much just the buffer, and we're going to have like a big battery of like 5x5 mana pools with sparks on top of them, and over time they're going to charge up with all the mana that these guys are going to produce. And then if we want to use it for crafting and whatnot, we're going to have another mana spark with the dominant trait like this one has, so that it pulls from the battery. So it's, in a way, it's kind of like wireless power, but using mana instead. It's pretty cool. And there we go. 25 mana pools. And we're going to put them on top of the spark. It can probably honestly be put like right here. I don't know how that's going to interact with anything though. You know what? Let's try it. So if I put the spark on this mana pool, it does work. Okay. So this is just a little bit more compact to do it like this. I am missing when you see it. It's this one. Yeah. There it is. Okay. So if I give them the cake, now I'm kind of curious how fast it's going to take to actually fill up all of these mana pools. It's not very pretty, but it's going to get the job done, I promise. And then another thing we can look forward to is once we start fighting the Gaia Guardian, we can start getting these overgrowth seeds. Flowers that are rooted on this enchanted soil will function at double the normal speed. So it's like having 16 Kekimeris plants once I get these seeds, but we have to fight the Gaia Guardian for this, which we're actually pretty close to. Man, watching these plants is like making me really hungry. I had this delicious German chocolate cake my sister got me for my birthday a couple days ago. Man, it was so good. Probably like the best cake I've ever eaten. It was so sweet. But I ran out of it yesterday, and you know, this isn't really helping. But you gotta admit, this whole little setup looks pretty cool. It's very flashy. It's got a lot of lights, and I love that. But if I check here, doesn't look like a lot of mana, right? Just keep in mind, it's all split between 25 of them. I think the more sparks you have in your network, the faster the crafting is for the Terra Steel. Oh, I'm gonna have to put the magnet here. I think I can increase this to 3 so it doesn't pick up this stuff. Yeah, okay. So I put that there and all of that. Look at that. Look how fast it crafted. And it probably just destroyed all of my mana storage, right? Yeah. Yeah, it ate all of the mana storage and now it's just relying on whatever's in here. So just a couple of minutes and we already have like 6 Terra Steel. So it is a pretty good source of mana. And it's not even the worst we can do. Once we get like more established, I can spam more of these cake plants. Another thing I can do is actually upgrade these mana spreaders. Because if I check this, they're actually bottlenecked. I think what I want to aim for are the Gaia mana spreaders. These guys are like almost 3 times as good. But we do have to get into the Gaia Guardian fight to get this. But this is probably one of the first things I want to go for because it's going to speed up our mana transfer, which means better mana production. Okay, so these plants have already eaten 18 stacks of cakes. They're so hungry. And we're not quite full yet. We're about halfway filled with every mana pool. We can say this is about 12 mana pools full of mana, so it's not bad. I've also noticed something interesting here. So these guys, these 4, are not quite full. I think it's because of this one over here. You notice how these 2 are different? That's because, if you remember from last episode, this one has the dominant augment. This one doesn't. So I just gotta give it to this. There you go. Put it back. And it just destroyed all of my mana stuff. But that's okay. So now these guys are always going to be full. So pretty much what that means is that if any mana pool is in the area that doesn't have a dominant spark, it's technically going to be part of the battery network. Just like this one over here is. But either way, that's still 12 mana pools, which is what? Technically like 20 something Terra Steel. So that's what's next. I do want to start spending this Terra Steel to start upgrading into the Terra Steel chestplate. It's not too bad, just a couple of ingots. I think we have enough for all of them. We also need to craft a couple of these runes. These don't look too bad. But another thing I was thinking about is starting to figure out a way to move enchantments around. And there's multiple ways to do that. You know, we have the Disenchanter from Draconic Evolution. We have whatever this is. Honestly, I don't know what this is, but it sounds like we can use it. And then we have Corail Tombstone. But I think the solution I want to do is the Lens of Disenchanting. And based on the manual, it says that you can transfer enchantments. You just throw it in front of a laser and it works. I've never used it before, so I do want to try it out. And it doesn't look too expensive. It's just glass, black quartz, and the empowered diamantine stuff, which is a bunch of clay, the diamantine itself, and this blue dye, or light blue dye. So we can craft this pretty easily. But first, let's work on the Terra Steel. So I'm going to need a bunch of Terra Steel ingots. Let's try to craft 12 total for now. And I want to show you guys one more time of how good this is. Oh, it's so quick. And there we go. Thank you. And we're going to need 4 of the tier 2 runes. Yes, the tier 2 runes. We already have the winter one. I just need to make the other ones. And again, now that we know that runes don't actually get consumed in runic altars, this is actually super easy. So we got the runes and the mana steel and the living wood twig. We should be ready to craft the full set of armor. And the boots. There we go. I'm kind of curious what this looks like. Oh yeah. Oh, we're dripped out. I don't remember it looking this cool. I'm kind of curious where it is on the armory tab. Oh, it's not very good. It's considered a good armor, apparently. it should be better than Emeradic, but for the most part, I don't think the stats matter. It's the enchantments that really matter. So we're going to stick with this for now because it's new. It's also like part of the theme we're going for right now, which is early game Botania. So we might as well just stick with it for a little bit. And I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get into Astro Sorcery, but this is going to be really good because of the Chaos Resistance, which we can use to fight the Chaos Guardian at some point. I can get into that if you're not aware of what I'm talking about, but that'll be whenever we get there. But now that we have this armor, the next step is to start figuring out how to enchant it with some good stuff. So the first thing I want to do is actually bring the Atomic Reconstructor with me. I'm going to move it to the Simple Void World, and I'm kind of curious about this. Am I able to move this when it's holding all of the enchants? One way to find out. Yes, okay, it stores everything. And I guess for now, I can put the Reconstructor right here and leave it on pulse mode so that we can actually physically activate it. So at this point, I do want to start getting the lens. The lens itself, again, is not too bad. I should be able to just craft this right here, actually. Yeah, okay, I got that. And then we just need the diamantine crystals, which also isn't bad. And I'm too lazy to move the Empower setup over, so it's just going to be here. Thank you. And I believe with this, we should have the lens now. So again, this is like the first time I'm using it, so I don't 100% know how it works. And who knows, I might even just delete all of my good enchantments. One way to find out, right? So I think how this works, you just put an item that you want to strip enchantments from, and then a book. And then turn off your magnet because it's going to get in the way. And then flash it with the laser. And there we go. So it takes one of the enchantments. I think that's what the description says here. It transfers a single enchantment. Yeah, so this case it got Aqua Affinity. So now I'm curious, does it stack enchantments? Is it able to get the protection off of it? Yes. Ooh. And then I can store it here, and then we just have protection 4 just hanging out there. Oh yeah. We also have a ton of books in here. I'm just gonna take everything that I find, dump it into the library. And we just rinse and repeat with all of these other enchantments. This is a pretty good thing to do because, for example, look at this one from the boots. It's got a bunch of good stuff in there, right? And there's still a couple of things I want to do. It's actually like collect really good books. Again, there's multiple ways to do that. And I think like a very standard way to do that is to use MeatballCraft. I think it's called the printing press. Yeah, you can use this to duplicate enchanted books, but it does cost a lot of XP. And we don't really have a good source of XP right now until I build a farm, and I don't think we have the time to do that today. Another thing I wanted to try out is to continue using Botania. There's another feature that I haven't really used before, but I've heard it's really strong. It's this mana enchanter. You can enchant items with books without consuming them, and then I can combine that with the disenchanting laser over here. So I can copy like a really good enchant onto an item, and then strip it, and then enchant it, and then strip it, and then enchant it, and you get what I'm trying to go for, right? Infinite enchanted books without using experience, and instead cake. So that's the plan. And it's also, again, something I've never played with. And I'm trying to go out of my comfort zone with new stuff. So this is going to be definitely one of them. But for me to do this, I do have to set up like a little bit of a ritual circle sort of thing. I don't know if I actually need Gaia pylons because it says it needs regular mana pylons, but I don't know. Let me do some research. So I'm not really sure why the advice from the modpack says Gaia pylons. So I'm just going to build it with the mana ones and we'll see if it breaks or anything. Structure complete. I should be able to just right click the lapis. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. So this is going to consume mana. And just like the agglomeration plate over there, you just give it a spark. Make the process go by much faster. So there's a couple of things to think about when using the enchanter. I think the biggest one here, it says that items that are already enchanted can't be placed in the enchanter. So I think really the main purpose of the enchanter is to just keep duplicating the really powerful books. So one of the powerful books we want to start duplicating is Protection 4. And then we also want to get Mending. I don't think I have Mending. So I think what I'm going to do is to just try and get it out of Enchanting normally. Okay, I think I need to take a small detour because I'm not getting any Mending from this. I have so many enchanted books. And this is pretty much all I have to show for it. It turns out it might be a little weird, the enchantment table in this pack. I can't seem to get level 30 enchants, and that's probably why mending is not showing up. It looks like it's capped to 24. But I was looking around the Discord, and apparently there's this corruption table. So pretty much what this is an enchantment table, but it does not need any bookshelves. And apparently it does level 30 enchants already. So I think I want to go for this. 2 ways to get this. I can either craft it or just look for it in the nether. And I think this is what I want to do. So we're going to go back to the nether. And if it shows up in the world gen tab, that means that it's just there in the world in some structure. So we're going to go look for this real quick. This is the life we belong to. Our gift divine. Okay, I think that's the structure over there that I'm looking for. Hello? Yeah, there it is. There it is. Give me. Thank you. It just has mending in here. Alright, that pretty much means we're done. I guess I'll just take everything just in case. I'll take that too. Thank you. Okay, so how I imagine this altar of corruption thing is gonna work. It really is just a crafting table. Okay. And I'm kind of curious. Let's say I want to enchant my helmet. Level 30 enchants. That's how you get them. But since we're mostly out of time for this episode, I do want to showcase the enchanting setup for a little bit. So how I believe it works, you just have to put an enchantable item. I don't know if books work. Books don't work. So what I can use instead is just a set of iron armor to apply the enchantments to. So I right click the enchanter with the item I want to enchant, and then we just drop a book. So for example, mending, and you right click it with the wand. Oh, okay. And then I right click this. Oh yeah, we got mending. Okay, so then I would do this like 4 times with the different armors, and that would give us 4 books after I extract them over there. And it doesn't seem to use a lot of mana. I mean, it probably does, but we have a really big buffer, so it doesn't look like it's using too much. Anyways, once we have a set of armor that has all the extra enchants that we want, for example, the mending, I just do the disenchanting method. Boom, and we have extra mending books now. And then we would rinse and repeat to get a copy of all the other great enchantments that we want to add. And there we go. So now I have 5 of each of the good books that I want to bring up. But pretty much the next step is to start combining these books and then add them to our armor. There we go. So now each of our armor pieces has protection 4, unbreaking, and mending. So I've noticed something interesting whenever I combined anything with that unbreaking 5 book. It bugged out and it just became unbreaking 3. So I don't know how to go around that. That's okay though, because that's the whole point of mending, right? Then we don't have to worry about it. The chestplate is the only one with unbreaking 5 because that came directly from the altar of corruption. So maybe this is how I work around that. But that's something we'll have to figure out next episode. So pretty good progress today. Got the mana enchanting set up, and now we have a very good set of armor using Terra Steel. And the only reason we were able to get Terra Steel was because of our very fancy mana battery that consumes a huge amount of cake and generates us a ton of mana. There's ways I can improve this. I do have some ideas, which may involve like an unlimited supply of cake and then some kind of redstone detection to tell the whole system to stop consuming, because we learned that the cakes will still get consumed if the plants are full, and we don't want that. So we're going to fight on the next episode, try to get to the Gaia tier 2, which I think is very possible, and then finally get the Ring of Odin. And we might even have enough time in that episode to start exploring. And I was thinking about which dimension I want to visit. I want to visit the furnace dimension. I've been seeing this pop up all over, and it's even mentioned in one of the earlier quests, probably over here. Yeah. So we can definitely go down this quest line and try to go to this dimension. I think it'd be fun. It'll also be a nice change of pace, right? For now, we'll go ahead and call it here. I appreciate your time and support as always. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.